Hello everyone, this is EngineFan020. Today, I will be reviewing the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends Battery Operated Railway by THQ. Not many people have ever really reviewed this set on YouTube, so I thought I'd share my views on the set and give it the proper attention and analysis it deserves. Let's start off by discussing the set's background. The Battery Operated Railway set was first produced in 1993 by a company called THQ. THQ, which stood for Toy Headquarters, was a toy and video game company that lasted from 1989 to 2013. In its early days, the company made many different kinds of toys, among which were Thomas the Tank Engine merchandise. Some of these included wind-up engines, which were later manufactured by Ertl, a Bump and Sound Thomas toy, and two Thomas video games for both Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. In 1994, THQ decided to completely focus on video games and stop producing toys. Who is Britt Allcroft? Britt Allcroft was the television producer who adapted the original Railway series books by the Reverend W. Awdry to the television screen in 1984. She and her company, the Britt Allcroft Company, were the original owners of the franchise before Hit Entertainment and Mattel, and are to this day credited on each and every piece of Thomas merchandise ever released. What is Shining Time Station? Shining Time Station was a live-action children's television series that aired in North America on PBS stations from 1989 to 1993, coincidentally retired when the set was released. This was basically Britt Allcroft's method to introducing Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends to US audiences, since the early episodes were only about 5.5 minutes long and couldn't fit the American 30-minute time slots. During each episode, there will also be 2 episodes of Thomas to be played to provide support for the lessons and morals being taught. This train set was found at a model train show I recently visited. A link to that video is provided in the description below. I paid $50 for this set, plus tax. I was super excited when I spotted the set. It was a total surprise, and seeing how vintage it was, I really had to get it. The front displays a spectacular image of Thomas steaming along the track with his driver and Sir Topham Hatt waving from his cab. The image is illustrated by Owen Bell, who is known for producing Thomas artwork for many Thomas posters, books, and merchandise throughout the 80s and 90s. If you look closely at the image, you can find his signature located on the front of one of the railroad ties. There are also 3 huge windows that display the 3 railway friends included in the set. In the bottom right corner, we can see that this was manufactured by Toy Headquarters. The back of the box displays a family playing with the set. From there, we can also find more information about the set, such as the track, characters, and operation. The sides of the box just depicts the same image of Thomas, the name of the set, and the Shining Time Station logo like the front side. The top and bottom sides displaying the family of 3 again. There is also a mention of a $5 railway rebate. We'll explore this later on in the review. All of the artwork and graphics are very eye-catching. The combination of the blue, red, and yellow colors absolutely scream Thomas, and something about the Bevan font lettering and black outlined clouds, as well as Owen Bell's illustrations, capture a sense of nostalgia when looking at the box. This would definitely be, and should be, a pleasant sight for any Thomas fan, both young and old. I was really excited, but very nervous to open the box. At the train show, I was told by the seller that the box had never been opened. However, after closer examination, I noticed that one end of the box already had its tape removed, and became a little suspicious and worried about whether at one point it had already been opened or not, and hoping that none of the parts were missing. The packaging inside the box is very good. Everything seemed to be tightly packed, which was great considering no spaces had been filled with any extra floating cardboard pieces, meaning less trash to be thrown away afterwards. No items were damaged inside the box. All plastic bits felt as if they came straight out of the factory, indicating that nothing had been touched since it had first been manufactured. Aside from the vehicles and track, the box also includes an instruction sheet and a fill-out certificate for a railway rebate. The rebate is there in case the customer paid too much for the set and can take $5 off the payment if they wish. I certainly wish companies still did that with products today. Thomas's eyes move through a mechanism geared to his front wheels. Thomas's cab also has a sticker decal depicting a waving engine driver. When the wheels move, Thomas's eyes will move from left to right. I really like the colors on this Thomas. Some details like the boiler stripes and whistles are missing, but I don't really mind. The increased use of the blue, red, and black colors really make the engine stand out and look very colorful, just as Thomas should. I also really like the face because its molding is very accurate to one of the notorious smiling face masks used in the model era of the television series. I would also give an applause to THQ for applying Thomas's porthole stickers very evenly. One thing that I don't like about this engine is how the wheels are completely gray. Thomas's wheels are normally blue with bare metal edges, and this particular style of Thomas gives the impression that his wheels were left unpainted. The face is good, but the only thing I don't like about it is the eyebrows. As you can see, they are clearly molded on, but they aren't actually painted. This makes Thomas's face look incomplete. The only things I would do that would make the model look better would be to paint the eyebrows black and the wheels blue. Annie and Clarabelle have removable roofs. This is so children can add all sorts of other toys to put inside so they can be given a ride. I really love the classic style of Annie and Clarabelle's faces. The design really captures both the personality and style of the coaches with television series accuracy. I also love the passenger sticker details on the side windows because they help to add life to the sides of the coaches. The only thing I would do to change the model is to make the curved ends at the front and back sides of Annie and Clarabelle's roofs straight. Although they are not too much of a distraction, this change would probably make them look a little better in my personal opinion. The track has a very simple but tight connection. All you do is connect the arrows into each other until they snap together. It wasn't very difficult assembling the track together, just tough. The battery compartment inside Thomas has to be accessed by a screwdriver. You just need to insert 2 C-size batteries, reassemble with a screwdriver, and he's ready to ride the rails. The coupling system is a very simple hook and loop system. The connections are very secure, and unlike the track, it is very easy to couple and uncouple the engine and cars together. The engine and coaches seem to fit very securely on the track. The wheel-to-rail fit is very firm and not likely to result in any derailments. Thomas runs at a nice steady speed. There is a little wheel slip the instant you first start him up, but he quickly picks up afterwards. I've watched the train run around the tracks for several minutes running both forwards and backwards and have never noticed any derailments. Thomas even runs well without his coaches. A very good performer indeed. One problem I encountered in operating the set is that the red lever that switches Thomas from battery operated to freewheeling is not very reactive. Thomas actually has to run around with weight on him for a few minutes for freewheeling mode to be engaged. I'm not sure if only my Thomas has this default, but the issue can be very irritating at times. I think young children would have just as much fun, and maybe even more, as I have had with this set. There's just something about watching Thomas running round and round in a simple loop that really captures your attention. Children could spend endless hours reenacting scenes from the show, or make up their own stories featuring other characters thanks to Annie and Clarabelle's removable roofs. They can pretend Thomas and the coaches are running around the island of Sodor, anywhere else in the world, or in any place children can imagine them to be, since there is nothing in the set, or on the box, that restricts the area to being specifically on the island of Sodor. This set seems to be becoming very rare. I have recently seen it for sale on eBay with prices ranging from about $50 to $100. After having paid $50 myself and comparing it to other listings online, I think I paid a fairly good price for it. However, if you can find the set in good condition for an even lower price, I would say that would be a deal one should never pass up. The battery-operated railway set scale is very similar to O gauge, 1 to 42nd scale. Annie and Clarabelle can fit on regular O gauge track just fine, however Thomas cannot fit perfectly on it. Fun fact, while I was researching this set for the production of this video, I stumbled across an old listing of a deluxe figure 8 version of the set that includes a station, a couple of trees, and a Sir Topham Hatt and railway guard figurine. A link to this even rarer version of the set will be provided in the description below. So here are my ratings for this set. Visual attraction 9 out of 10, performance 8.5 out of 10, durability 10 out of 10, character 10 out of 10, price value 9 out of 10. Altogether, this comes up to a final score of 9.5 out of 10. So that's my review on the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends Battery Operated Railway by THQ. Thank you all so much if you watched this long video to the very end. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to place them in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching and have a blessed day.